Look at you. You're just so damn cute. Just a sweet bubble. Oops. Oops. Uh-oh. I messed up. Oh no. There we go. Let's do a little quick meal check. Even though I doubt we have anything. Yeah. Chica still out there? Nah. No, she's back inside. Come on. Look at that. Yeah, there you go. Man, these flies are coming back. God damn it. Yeah, it doesn't look like mail came yet. Yeah. Nothing yet. Come on, baby. Come on, boy. Oh, come on. Goof. I cannot see my screen at all. Oh my god. The sun. How dare with you. How dare you, son? Oh, there we go. I can see! Oh my god! Oh, bitch right in there now. There we go. Oop. Doop. Doop, doop. Yo, MC early stream today. Yes, yes. Indeed, indeed. Actually, expecting like one more thing to come in the mail, so that's why I was out there checking it real quick there, y'all. But, figured I'd just kind of chill for a bit. I have no idea for how long. Probably like 2 hours or something. Yeah. That was my best Rip City Baseworks impression. I mean, at least when it comes to the early ones. So usually it's like, damn, early ass stream today. Yo, MC, early ass stream. Yeah, so, yeah, I think he did a pretty decent little accurate depiction there. What, baby? What? You goof? What? What the hell? How can I help you? I'm giving you a bunch of love and playtime. Oh my goodness. Here, I'll give you one of these. How about that? If I can open it. Can you, like... Hey. Hold on. Excuse me. Sit. There you go. Silly boy. But, yeah, wait, hold on. I have 2 quarters in there. Where the hell did it go? Oh, there it is. Yeah. No, wait, that ain't it. What the fuck? I was deceived. So, over there. Yeah, whatever. I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with that later. Anyway, da-da-da-da-boom. So, what is happening for the fun day today? My goodness. I know this much. Need to get a hole going. I actually finally got in my rig out for today, too. Did you watch Forgot Wem's video for today? Ian reviews the Type 93. Oh, the Chinese assault rifle from Fallout. You know, it's technically not a real gun, right? I mean, it looks so fucking slick. Like, I will admit that, but it's just like, damn, I wish it was real. Because it kind of looks like a mixture of, like, an AK, a Galil, and... there's, like, one other gun it has, like, a resemblance to. But it looks more or less like a Galil and an AK had sex and had a kid. And the Type 93 was essentially that. In fact, here. It looked like a working replica of the game's rifle. Well, yeah, I mean, it actually works. Here, I'm actually looking it up. Yeah, it just straight up is like all fictionalized type of thing. There's actually a Type 93 sniper rifle in 7.62 millimeter that is actually a Taiwanese manufactured weapon. So there technically is a Type 93, but it's a Taiwanese weapon, and it's a sniper. Which it looks like it doesn't carry your typical 7.62. But looks like this. Kind of looks like the M24. Like an M24 rifle. What is this cartridge? I've never seen this before. 7.62 by 51. It's not 54, so I'm assuming because... Okay, yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 millimeters. Huh. It legit looks like a painted M24. Well, it's not. I'm just looking at this, just kind of to see here. 3, 4, 5 millimeter, 52. Yeah, so that's where the line is. That green little line is to 52. 54 millimeter. Let's go up a little bit. So if it was 54, that little indent on a bullet right above that green line is where it'd be. Or no, 51. I mean, yeah. It's using I guess the cartridge was some. I'm not looking at the cartridge. I want to look at the gun. Close up the barrel. Yeah, they just straight up dead ass do kind of look like M24s. Let me guess, it was actually designed off of it. Let's see. Yeah, see, it was. Military police version of the Model 700, the M24. Yeah, it literally just is. It's just a licensed variant that Taiwan designs. So, there you go. Yeah, the reason why it does look like an M24, because it basically is. It's just a Taiwanese version of it. Well, I guess the Type 93 technically does exist. Just not in the traditional form that we're all used to. I wonder if that gun is actually based off of, like, anything specifically outside of just it being a fan-made type of gun. Or at least, like, a, you know, just like some random gun that was designed, you know, fictionally. And honestly, it's like, I mean, like, when seeing Ian react to it and shit was pretty fucking legit, just especially because, like, it kind of gets an idea that, you know, it legit could be, you know, overall, fundamentally, like, massive produced, like, type of weapon that you can just see on a common daily basis, which honestly I do. Like, I want to see the Type 93 Chinese assault rifle actually designed to where it could actually legit be a thing. Because it'd be so cool. It's just a really cool looking gun. And what's the Chinese assault rifle based on? The weapon appears to be based on the IMI Galil and the Type 56 assault rifle. Yep, which are both AK variants. Obviously the Type 56 far more so than the Galil. I'm actually going to watch the entire video that Ian put out, so I actually want to skip around and see if he did like a full disassembly. To see Ian's review of the coil gun, you can see the beginning of revolution in firearm tech. Yeah, I saw that. Jesus Christ, he really does, like... Oh, yeah, there is actual disassemble section near the end of the video here.
Dust cover unlocked from the back here. I then actually have to pull the charging handle slightly back to allow the top cover to clear these locking pins. So if I pull that back, I can then lift off the top cover. And this is a very nice, heavy-duty, reliable, durable top cover. It is square for ease of manufacture. There's sort of a built-in ejection port here to prevent cases from bouncing back inside this dust cover. And then we've got, of course, our reinforcements there and our locking pin holes here. Internally, this is a
AK
Kalashnikov style of action.
Yeah. Pretty typical.
We do have a recoil buffer in there to help make it a bit more controllable. And a very standard bolt carrier, just with the RPD style of charging handle added to it. So how did we end up with a PLA rifle from 250 years ago here in the United States? Well, there are actually two real sources of Type 93 assault rifles in the continental United States.
No, there ain't. I bet that AK is a custom order job. It is. Oh, it is. I mean, it's like there's certain weapons that you just can't have unless you have like a legit, very good quality gun manufacturer or like gunsmither who's willing to do it for you, basically. And also fork over a lot of fuck you money. Like, I mean, I guarantee you if these were mass produced, that'd probably be like $1,000, you know, give or take. But because they're obviously more of a one-of-a-kind type of piece, they're probably, you know, just increase that by like 10, and then it'll, you know, make it like a 10K type of rifle or like 15K. Then you're probably talking. This will love that, the quote beat up Wasteland AK. Honestly, what I really loved was like in the Nuka-Cola DLC in Fallout 4. I know I'm treading into very questionable waters right now, but what I did love about that DLC primarily wasn't really for anything about the DLC outside of the gun. And I'm saying gun because of the different customizable options you can have with it. But it was basically the AK-47. It was the traditional like AKM basically. You know, it's like all these different little factions at this amusement park all have like somehow have an armory of like 1 million AKs, and then like, you know, just all have them all decked out and customized and beaten up and all that shit, you know. And of course, take 7.62, you know, ammo. And honestly, I think there wasn't any 7.62 ammo in the game until that DLC. So it's very hard to fucking find any ammo for that damn thing when I'm not in the actual like Nuka-Cola Wastelands and in the Wastelands. It's a lot more harder to find the fucking ammo unless I'm going to like a shop and buying it in bulk. So like, I would like to have like 8,000 rounds of all of your AK ammo, the cheapest you got. It's just like, I mean, it's basically just that in a nutshell every time I'm in the Wastelands of Fallout 4. I'm like, it's like, what's all your 7.62 ammo and what is the cheapest you got? It's like, because I'll take all of your cheapest stock. Just AK owners in a nutshell. It's like, alright, we have 7.62 ammo. What's the cheapest and how much can I buy at once? I mean, that's just the nutshell of it right there. So, it's just like, yeah. I mean, it pretty much, like, it really does make you feel like that when you're in the vanilla game of it, and you have it. Ammo crafting? Oh, definitely. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me make sure Zukav's inside. Zukav! Zukav! What you doing?
Oh, mess around, chicken? Is that what you're doing? Is that what you were doing?
The best part for is what they did with Power Armor. Oh, dude, fuck yeah. Like, what they did with Power Armor was honestly pretty badass. Like, I actually wish that, honestly, looking back, I kind of wish there was a way to do some of that for the Fallout, like for the other ones. Like, if they ever decide to kind of, like, do a copy-paste remaster of these games and add, like, a couple things, you know, maybe, like, you know, more customizable power armor and shit like that, like Fallout 4 did, that would actually be legit. Like, honestly, it's like, I get why people don't like Fallout 4, but I don't know, like, it actually has its moments. Like, I think, I know it's not everyone's forte, and luckily you don't have to do anything about it if you don't want to, but, like, the settlement building, like, I like that personally. I know a lot of people didn't, but I did. Mainly because I actually liked having, like, a little home base, and, and having a place like Sanctuary was actually pretty cool because I basically just did all I could to just stuff every survivor that I had and made like a little town. That's essentially all I did. Like, I mean, and then I had like a few other settlements that were just basically little farms or like little like resource points, and that's all I did. Like, there's honestly ways they can make those settlements actually be very useful. Poor RPG, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, it has, like, a lot of the cell building, some customability. Like, I love the way that you can customize guns in that game. I really do. Like, one of my favorite early starting weapons that I usually will get is the revolver, the pipe revolver. Carbine, specifically. Like, get a carbine variant of that thing. And honestly, like, that was, like, my go-to for the early chunk of the game. Because you wouldn't think it would have a lot of damage. But if you kept it maintained and actually kept it decently upgraded and shit like that, you can kick ass with that thing. Like, I would just, like, in a pinch, I would have that, and obviously I'd have other weapons, but at least for, like, the first, like, I don't know, for, like, the first, like, 15, 20 levels of the game, that you level up and shit, that pipe revolver carbine is actually not really too bad. I think it's just because when you have, like, the revolver element of that gun, in place, it adds more stopping power to the game. So thus, even if you have a more carbine variant, you're adding extra stopping power to it, so thus it, does more damage. I think it's just because of how the game sets the stats for the guns. But yeah, the pipe revolver though, at least the pipe rifle revolver, that shit, like, there was a few times I was kicking ass with that shit. Until you start mass production of vegetable starch, and then you have unlimited glue. Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, I couldn't tell you how much it was a bitch to fucking find adhesive, dude. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you, man. Like, honestly, it makes me legit think, like, Fallout 4 really just was a very mass missed opportunity, and everybody knows it. Because it's like, they have all these things that are legitimately pretty cool and pretty good, but then they just fucked it off, basically, and made it bare minimal. Outside of, like, a couple elements, which is the customability of, like, power armor and guns and stuff like that, and settlement building. But not everybody is into that shit. Some people just like the more story mode elements, and that's why New Vegas was so great. Like, it still had some customability, like the other Fallouts, in a sense, and kind of expanded it with things like, making different ammo types and shit. Like, for shotguns, you can get, like, coin shots and shit like that. So, either way, it's like, there's ways to where, there's some customability where you can make the gameplay unique to, to your style and shit. But it just wasn't that strong in 4. Like, I mean, it had too many missed opportunities of so many things. And honestly, the story was actually not the bad thing. I honestly think it was like, they just didn't fill it up. Like, they didn't fill the story up, and they made it very linear. Like, they made it so you pretty much had to, pick, from the factions, and either way, the ending isn't really too different. It's just like, that was a problem. Like, they should have looked to New Vegas of how they did their story. Because they did it fucking right, and people to this day love Fallout New Vegas and still play Fallout New Vegas. Out of all the other Fallouts, that's probably the #1 played Fallout ever. Just because it is just so rich, not just with story, commentary, philosophy, and gameplay, but it's just was one of those few games that were just done right. Like, hell, I got into Fallout playing New Vegas. Like, I wasn't really big into Fallout until New Vegas. And when I played New Vegas, I realized, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. Like, because, I mean, I played Fallout 3, but I was like, there were some of the mechanics and some of the gameplay of it a little bit that I wasn't really too fond of, but it got improved on in New Vegas. Like, aiming down your sights and shit like that, which for me personally, that's a big stickler. Like, if I'm in a first-person shooter and I'm not aiming down sights, that just seems so weird and awkward to me. In Fallout 3, you don't do that. You just, like, zoom in closer to your gun, like, you bring it closer to yourself. Like, hey, here, let me try to get more accurate. It's just like, that's not how you get accurate by putting it up next to you. You aim down the fucking thing. I want to actually have, like, the POV of it looking like that, too. I thought it was okay. New Vegas is much better. Oh, very much so. Probably because there's a certain company that is very poisonous and another one wasn't. But, you know, Obsidian, though, they knew what they were fucking doing. The original games are great, but you have to be patient as they are very different from the Bethesda games. Oh, of course. I still want to play them, though. Because I'm definitely fond of those type of gameplay styles overall. So, what the fuck? I keep getting responses on my notifications for a comment I made, like, what, 5 days ago? Oh my god. It's about, it was actually on Forgotten Weapons, a community post they did about a week ago from the Lithuanian Ministry of Defense. In order to strengthen Lithuania's national defense, from now on, members of professional military service, the NDVF, the National Volunteer Forces, and Lithuanian Riflemen's Union will be allowed to purchase and keep automatic rifles for the highest category in their homes. And it's just like, okay, cool. That all sounds awesome. But what sounds even more base is Riflemen's Union. It's like, huh? Like, I'm assuming and have to take a random guess and just say that it's probably more akin to something like the NRA or the SRA, you know, like the National Rifle Association or the Socialist Rifle Association, where it's like gun owners and shit that, like, you know, are part of a, you know, organization where they, you know, harbor events and stuff like that, you know, obviously have membership and shit. Like, I'm assuming it's probably akin to that, but still, I mean, just to put the name of it specifically as like a Riflemen's Union is a little based. If I do say so myself. Because, yeah, why don't we have those? It's like, I want a Rifleman's Union. I'd totally join that. I mean, I guess I kind of technically will, like the SRA, I suppose, but I'm not a member of them yet. I was going to apply to it at some point, but it just happened yet. Like a flying anything in Arma. Wait, well, yeah. I reinstalled Arma 3 and found out the Fallout mount got updated with vertibirds, so I've been learning to fly one today. Oh, God. Yeah, flying anything, especially with the physics of Arma, is very difficult, so have fun with that. I mean, I imagine if, you know, the vertibirds are going to operate like a helicopter, so just practice flying helicopters in Arma, and you should probably be able to fly a vertibird. Honestly, like, funny enough, at least for me personally, helicopters are a lot easier to fly in Arma than aircraft. But that's just what I've noticed. At least to me, personally. Though in real life, helicopters are fucking insanely more difficult to fly than a plane. So it's like, it's weird. The reality is the inverse. Because, I mean, helicopters got to worry about, like, gyro auto rotations and fucking, like, you know, the throttle as well. Because, like, you have to have it at a certain point to at least maintain a hover. Because if you drop it to 0, you're actually going to kind of start falling. So it's like there's, you know, a little extra bullshit you gotta have to, like, you know, learn instead of just like mixture, throttle, flaps. You know, it's like pretty simple shit. Well, at least, you know, when it comes to the fundamental basics. The fundamental basics of a helicopter are just far more difficult. So yeah, I can imagine, you know, just that implied as well. It's just gonna be even that more difficult. AOC and Crystal Ball fight on Twitter. Oh my fucking god. Crystal responds live. And it's Kyle. Kyle on a phone, bro. Wait, this ain't Crystal. What? What do you mean, Kyle? Oh my god, he literally looks like a fucking... like the nerdiest nerd I've ever seen in my life right now. Oh my god, bro. Look at our boy. Look at our lesbian softball coach. Oh my god.
Hello, everybody. Forgive the very...
He's not even, like, holding the camera. Just like a pissed off soccer coach. He does look a little pissed. He does look like a coach. And he's got Powerade or something. What is that? Oh, that's body armor. I've had that shit before. What flavor is that? Oh, he's got the good flavor. He's got some mixed berry. Oh, that's a good flavor.
Fuck yeah.
It works?
Pop Willie's fucking dead stop.
Nope.
I rolled it down the fucking road. Did you hear that?
A little bit.
Yeah, I fucking... Pink. And I figured out what it was.
What?
It wasn't the gear. Because the other gear I had was set for 52. That's a 48 pitch. So the gears aren't so pointy.
Yeah.
They're more rounded. That 25 tooth I put on,
Mm-hmm.
48 pitch.
And it's work better?
Huh?
And it works better?
Yeah, because it messes up so because the sprigger that's on there
Mm-hmm.
is 48 pitch.
Mm.
So the gears mesh up better. And when I had it on my old setup, they weren't compatible. They were grinding too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I killed the battery again.
Dope.
I'm sitting here with Crystal.
There she
I was going
is.
to do a separate segment on this, but I didn't have the time to like sit down and do one of those videos where
Yeah, you are. You're doing it now while you're driving, Kyle.
I screen capture and I'm talking, and we're just super busy, so you're just going to have to settle for the real life stuff here. But, ooh, look at that. Was that an eagle? Or a hawk? What was that? Anyway.
It was a hawk.
It looked like a pterodactyl was flying in the car. Anyway, so let me
The
walk
pterodactyls are coming for you,
yesterday
Kyle.
was the Amazon labor union election. And there's a lot of things that are interesting about it because Christian Smalls is the one who really ran it. He's the one who's been organizing behind the scenes. Christian Smalls, of course, used to work at Amazon, and he's the guy who blew the whistle about the lack of covert protections and all that stuff. And originally, I think they were trying to get with an official union that already exists to organize Amazon, but that really didn't work out. There's a bunch of issues with that. I mean...
I actually do know that there was attempts with that, because I think they were doing that with the SEIU, but there was some bullshit that kind of fell out with that, so that ended up not being the case. So eventually it just became the Amazon Labor Union, where they became their own thing.
Those unions
Which ended up in being a better situation because they won.
Try to do this the independent way. So he's been organizing behind the scenes, and look, truth be told, I had no idea whether or not what he was doing was working. In fact, I was skeptical. I was thinking it probably wasn't going to work. Well, long story short, the election happened yesterday, and it's actually still ongoing now. At least they're counting the votes now. It looks like the Amazon Labor Union is going to win. It looks like they're actually going to unionize in Staten Island, which is amazing. It's an incredible victory for the labor movement. It's honestly an indictment of like the big official labor unions that already exist, because it wasn't them who got this. It was Christian having worked at this.
Honestly, this kind of is, you know, a message to some of the current unions and some of the older unions that exist today. It's like, if you're not going to take the more aggressive, radical approach and be a little bit more of a militant labor organization, we're going to fucking do it ourselves then. Because we need the fucking teeth. And if there's not going to be a labor union who's willing to do that for us, then we're going to do it ourselves, regardless of how small we are and how long it takes. Because, you know, for these guys, you know, especially for Christian Smalls, I can't fucking tell you, they were not, you know, thinking, oh yeah, we'll be able to do this the first vote around, you know, only get it past here, like, you know, today and shit. Like, you know, they probably weren't thinking that. They're probably thinking it was going to take a while. It's going to, you know, probably be like another year or two worth of fighting, you know, especially when they're on their own like that. But no, it wasn't. And it honestly does show as an indictment that, like, yeah, people are willing to fucking stand up and fight, regardless of, you know, whether there's a big union like the SEIU or like the UFCW, for example, you know, that I'm in. Like, if, you know, they're not willing to put the fight up, then there's someone else who's going to do it for them. and it is an indictment for those that just kind of sit on the sideline a little bit, just don't help and collaborate. Because honestly, even if there isn't like, a major, effort, into maybe like integrating the units together and making like the adjacent ALU part of the SEIU, like tangentially, kind of like how the AFL has all these other unions under its bigger umbrella. It's like, I mean, even that, would help, because there would be a lot more of a effort of solidarity and collaboration with like other union workers to come in and replace the line when it comes to things like pickets and when it comes to strikes and shit. On top of that, of just having more extra able-bodied people to help out when it comes to events and shit. Like, there's all sorts of things that come into play with this type of shit, and the fact that there wasn't really much about like the SEIU or like any of these other unions to come in and help them, like, or anything like that, it is an indictment. It's like, yeah, where the fuck were you? It's like, I mean, they were literally on their ass kind of doing this alone. And y'all were just kind of, just kind of off on the sidelines. Especially when it comes to Amazon, that's a major fucking player. And the fact that the first domino fell just means there's going to be more of them. Like, just because, this warehouse in Staten Island got unionized doesn't mean it's not going to stop. Like, it most certainly is going to keep going. Like, I'm sure Amazon's probably thinking, how do we try to nip this in the bud before it spreads? And one thing that they're more likely going to do, because this is historical and contemporary when it comes to what businesses do and companies do to recently unionized workplaces, is that they shut them down. And then move the warehouse, or move the business, or move that location just a little bit, further away somewhere else. So not in that direct area, but they'll move it like, a mile or two away. So it's like, we're shutting this down, and then like a few months later, suddenly they're reopened a mile down the road. It's like, Or they just outsource it, to some, fucking third world country where there's very little labor protections and labor rights, and far more means and abilities for that business to exploit the fucking workers. So, it's just like, if it's not, moving it just like a little bit further down the road, they're outsourcing that shit somewhere else. Because it's just more cheaper, and it makes them more fucking money. And they think that the cost, of doing all this hassle and bullshit just because, oh, God forbid, our workplaces get unionized, then, to them, that's a benefit. They don't care. Because, the less and the least amount of a voice that their workers have, the better. And that means better for their shareholders and better for the fucking owners, of that business. Not for the workers, though.
Meeting people, learning about them, becoming friendly with them. My suspicion is that what happened was a lot of the people who worked in that factory, on top of having personal relationships with him, they realized that Amazon was just smearing him when all those articles were being run about how, what they say about him, Crystal? He's inarticulate.
So Amazon's general counsel said he was, quote, not smart or articulate, and they floated a PR strategy of actively making him the face of the Amazon union movement, thinking that would doom it.
That actually made it better, because it just made Amazon look like a bunch of fucking racist pigs. Like, you wanna know why they're trying to call Christian Smalls not smart and unarticulate? It's because he's black. I'm dead fucking serious. I guarantee you they would not say that if he was a white guy. They'd probably just call him a little bit more militant and ignorant at that point.
So they're like actively...
An ignorant, militant person who does not, know the true, way of how things work, and it's just being mad. But it's a black guy, so it's like, nah, that's just not an articulate or smart individual. That's, kind of equivalent of a monkey right there, let me just tell you. Anyway, so the Amazon General Counsel says that this person's not smart or articulate, we're gonna have to smear this person. I'm not smart and unarticulate. I mean... that's some bullshit, honestly. But, it's like, I mean, I'm not necessarily like the smartest or most articulate person, but, I'm willing to at least know for myself that I'm at least not smart or unarticulate. Like, and same thing for Smalls. Like, I mean, honestly, nobody's like, going to be like uber smart or super articulate or anything. I mean, it's like the idea that was going to work in the first place is bullshit. Because all it does is just, hey, why don't you just like listen to this guy for like 5 minutes and you'll find out that this guy is 1, smart, and 2, articulate as fuck. So all it was literally just a fervent racist smear campaign. And honestly, Amazon would not be having its first instance of that bullshit. With this incident. Like, there's been multiple incidents dotted throughout the country of Amazon being openly fucking racist when it comes to black employees who have spoken out about some of the conditions of Amazon working conditions and shit. Like, I mean, it's like when you're specifically targeting whether they're just like your rank and file or supervisors or whoever the fuck that happen to be black just because they're speaking out some shit, yeah, you're probably being racist as fuck. Because now it's just as simple as like, oh, you're just fired. Because they just do that left and right. I mean, it'd be a little too easy that way. You gotta make it so it's like, there's a little bit of a message sent. Where it's like, hey, if you have a minority, know your fucking place here at Amazon. I mean, unless you're a part of the owner class here, then know your place anyway. But especially if you're black. They say if you say big and small 3 times in the mirror with your eyes closed, you'll appear in murky ass. With what? The dankest fucking weed? With the dankest weed? Like, I mean, alright. Does the camera looking back at me count? Does this count?
Wildly misunderestimated.
Thank you.
Underestimated him.
Say that one time?
Yeah, he did.
Nice. Yeah, so look, it was all because he was blowing the whistle on Amazon for their lack of COVID protections. Jordan Chariton has done reporting on the ground on this, where he talks about there was all these Amazon factories. Forget just the drivers having to piss in their trucks and shit in their trucks. You also have the factories have a lack of climate control sometimes, where it could be too hot or too cold. People are passing out. People are throwing up. There was no PPE. All these problems. So it looks like he's going to win. Now, we had Christian Smalls on Crystal Kyle and Friends, and you also had him on Breaking Points. How many times?
A lot. We've been talking to Christian for years, ever since he first got fired from Amazon.
Here's the reason why we did that. Because we fucking care, and we want them to actually win, and we want them to get their union. And nobody cares more about this than Crystal. Crystal was following this election.
Before she ran away, my sister worked at Amazon and was miserable. Yeah. Honestly, like, my dad did, for, like, a temp agency. As Amazon very openly embraces that type of work style, work ethic, where it's like, hey, we're going to hire a bunch of fucking temp workers instead, so we can basically exploit and abuse them even further than our actual workers that are more employed with us specifically, because if those people have any complaints, then they have to talk to their temp agency, not us. So, my dad worked for him for like 2 weeks, and then they got rid of him basically because he wasn't productive enough. And all it did was basically just break his fucking back even further, to the point where now he barely can fucking walk. And it's like he was doing landscaping for fucking over a decade and plus. I mean, like, at least, doing like, whether for the city or for privately on his own, independently, like, at least for 2+ fucking decades. And that, while still busting his fucking back and shit, didn't nearly destroy it as much, doing it at Amazon, because he barely, at the end of those fucking days, he looked even worse than fucking working landscape and shit. Because honestly, it's just like, there is definitely a difference, of doing some landscaping stuff where maybe every now and then you're hauling some heavy shit, and Amazon where you're always constantly hauling heavy shit. And you have to do it quick. And you have to basically be a drone. Or at least when he was doing landscaping shit, he can do it at his pace and, take the time he needed to, do the job and not just do it, but correctly. Where he wasn't outright fucking destroying himself every fucking day. So it's why, despite, him slowly but surely wearing himself down with fucking landscaping and shit, it didn't nearly fucking destroy him as much as if he was doing that for Amazon. And that was for like barely 2 weeks. Walmart's just as bad as Amazon. Yeah. Oh, honestly. They're probably the worst. Both of them are probably equal for the worst. And honestly, anyone saying otherwise is just lying to themselves.
Yesterday, I mean, how many times did you reach out to me in the day telling me, like, an update on the vote tally?
I was kind of freaking out.
Yeah, she was like, oh my god, they're gonna win. Oh my god, this is amazing. But when we had Christian Smalls on our podcast, one of the things...
So where's the whole, like...
Look, this was hard.
Where's Ocasio-Cortez and Crystal Ball fighting? Get to that.
I wish this wasn't the case, but it is. It's what happened.
Walmart's just more visible while Amazon's more invisible. Yeah. But even then, like, most people aren't necessarily visible to Walmart's bullshit.
When they were having the protest...
Like, I know people who outright like them because they're cheap. They're cheaper than other places.
Remember, the eviction moratorium was lifted, and so Cori Bush was, like, sleeping outside to protest that. Remember that?
Yep.
Christian Smalls went to D.C. to meet not only with Cori Bush to stand in solidarity on this issue, but also whoever else was showing up where Cori Bush was. And a bunch of squad members showed up there to show their support. And so Christian Smalls met them. He had conversations with various squad members. I think it was AOC in particular who he talked to. And AOC told him in no uncertain terms, "Oh, you're the Amazon labor union guy. Oh my God, that's awesome. I support you. I'm going to come. I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to show up there. And,
I'm going to come. Pause.
They exchanged the staff, AOC staffers exchanged numbers with him, and he was in contact with them on a regular basis. And then what happened was, at the last minute, she pulled out of it. And Christian Smalls really didn't like that because not only did she pull out of it, her office started ghosting Christian Smalls too.
Man, fuck AOC, dude. Okay, I'm seeing where this fight's gonna begin, and honestly, it's at the point where I'm actually starting to not, like, openly not like her. Instead of just being like, whatever, she's just weak, it's to the point where it's like, no, fuck her. Like, fuck her. Like, I'm supposed to be like, oh, you know, she's definitely for the working class and a progressive and, you know, for the common laborer when she's ghosting, you know, Christian and his attempt to unionize at the last fucking second. Go fuck yourself, bitch. Like, are we serious? Man, like, the idea that AOC is actually, like, you know, some progressive or, like, in there and, you know, tried to stir discourse or some shit is bullshit. She's just another fucking goddamn corporate puppet. Outright, through and fucking through. She's just a snake in the grass. Fuck AOC.
About how you think it's possible
what a puppet.
Maybe some of the more established unions told AOC and others, like, hey, look, don't associate with these people.
No, that ain't it. It was Pelosi. I guarantee you it was Pelosi. It's Pelosi and the fucking DNC and the Democratic establishment saying, hey, AOC, quit working in line with a lot of these more radical type of people, or your career of, you know, moving up and being a little nice little pocket celebrity for everybody around here is going to be over. So she cares more about her fucking image and her fucking perception within the establishment more so than the actual issues. So fuck her for that.
And you don't want them to, like, sully your name? Like, if you endorse them and then this thing goes under, then it's like, you know, you take the heat for it or whatever, right? Wasn't that what your theory was?
I mean, I don't want to speculate too much because the truth is I don't know. All I know is she said she was going to show up. The last minute she cancels. She claimed it was this is all communication from her staff, claimed it was a security concern.
Bullshit.
2 weeks later, she's at the Met Gala. Or several weeks later. I think Christian said 2, but it was a short time frame later.
Oh, so this is during that whole Met Gala thing, too? Wow. You know, man, she could go fuck herself up the river, like, 8 ways till Sunday.
And even worse than that, okay? Like,
she's just a fucking preppy, like, a preppy lib that just, you know, thought that, you know, hey, you know, I'm a bartender. If I just say enough of these, you know, progressive ideas and shit, I can actually fucking make it. And she did. And she got, you know, she won on a whim, and now she's, you know, trying to, you know, make her place, and a lot of that is just fitting right into the establishment. And basically, at this point, slowly but surely, just like usurping Joe Crowley, you know, in a way that, you know, is more in line with his shit. Like, it wasn't the whole point of her being there was to, you know, be basically the exact opposite of that motherfucker. And now, basically, she's, you know, while vocally not sounding like that, is basically in line with a lot of the shit that these Democratic fucks that, you know, she was trying to replace are doing. It's like, There's a reason why, you know, at this point, like, you know, squad for, is, you know, for, you know, like, even for some of the good that, you know, like, people like Omar are doing at this point can go fuck themselves. Like, I only, at this point, really have respect for Omar and who's the other one? Jayapal? Like, I think those are, like, the only two that are actually, like, worth their fucking salt at this point. And one of them is probably just because they know they're an immigrant and can't fucking go into higher offices and shit. She's already peaked in her mind, so might as well go all out. Which, honestly, is good. I mean, she should be doing that, period. But, you know, it's just like, I mean, there's just so much bullshit where it's like, oh, well, we can't do anything, we can't do this and that, so we're just gonna kind of fall in line. And just like, take the word of, a lot of these corporatists in the establishment, like Rokan is saying, oh, we were gonna take the word of Joe Manchin and shit, being an open goddamn puppet to the DNC. Just like, like being played like a fucking fiddle on national television, for them and shit, while, looking like, oh, hey, look, we're trying to actually, get our stuff done when, we're having the establishment literally laugh in our face on national television and shit while we're on there because, they think it's cute that we have, like, these ideas of grandeur and shit, but literally do nothing to do, anything to push that radically. Which is why they think it's cute, because, we don't do anything to actually push it. We just say we do a lot and just not really do anything about it after that. It's like, give me a fucking break. It's like, honestly, it's like, at this rate, can we just, like, clone, like, 1,000 Omars and just have her replace, like, everybody? Like, at this point, because, like, she's pretty much the one worth her fucking salt.
Threats on her life, there's no doubt that stuff is true. She didn't even tweet out support in the final week.
So now let's get to.
And also, she was getting death threats. Like, I guarantee she does. But from people on the right, what, you think there was like fucking union agitators or some shit who were like, threatening her fucking life or something if she didn't show up or some shit? Bullshit. At this point, it just seems more like a goddamn fucking smear campaign. Towards, Christian Smalls on top of, this weird tacit support. Like, hey, I'm going to support you, but last second I'm going to kind of smear you a little bit and ghost you and fucking not communicate with you at all.
Oh, yes, you're going to use Shady Crystal as you're following this,
Clone an army of Jeffrey Bezos, even better than Zuckerberg clone army. Oh god, please, let's not. No.
You see, AOC tweets out some shit, like, responding about being oh so happy about this thing winning, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, I know from behind the scenes, because, this wasn't, you didn't say anything publicly at the time, but the second you saw that, you fucking snapped. You're like, you had the fucking opportunity to show up there, and you ghosted him. And not only that, like you said, you didn't even say some shit in support of it when they were actually needing your help massively. Now that you see they're about to win, all of a sudden you want to jump in front of the fucking parade.
She wants to take the credit last second. See, this is my fucking problem with this bitch, because like she's such a fucking puppet and cares so much about her celebrity status. If there's something that actually doesn't look like it will push through, she will just either ghost it, minorly smear it as something that just won't work, or just like, fucking just not be there, even though she says she supported it in the past. And once she sees last second, oh, it actually is going to work and win, she's going to be like, oh, wait, hey, let me jump in the front and say I'm actually the one who was like, here the entire time. Yeah, I'm so happy this happened. Please, boost me up more, career, my career, please. Like, boost me up further into my career so I can become more of a corporatist puppet. Please, please. AOC is our generation's Nancy Pelosi, mark my words. Absolutely. No, she is. I guarantee you that's, that's what, like her, her ties with Pelosi are probably akin to this now. Where Nancy's like, hey, you want to be in my position? Well, you have to fucking, be groomed and be, slowly but surely integrated properly under my watch. I'm not just gonna let you fucking, come in here and try to call shots. You're gonna play by the rules. And she is. Because she cares more about that than the fucking actual issues that are going on in the fucking country. Whether it's, when it comes to fucking labor, or when it comes to things like healthcare or whatever else. I mean, at this point, it's like, if there's people who are willing to either turn their back, ghost, or smear, or just not be in support of the labor movement at this point, then they could go fuck themselves. And AOC has proven that she's not in favor of the fucking worker or the laborer. She's willing to turn her back on it until last second when she realizes that it's actually gonna fucking work, because it will. But she's too much of a fucking coward corporatist bitch to fucking, actually stand on her principles. Because in this system, you have to forego principles, and you're pretty much taught from an early age that principles mean shit. So motherfuckers like her go out there and, with this fucking thought in mind, and just drop the ball every step of the way. But I guess, you know, lefties who are just done with AOC are a little, like, too far or tankies or something. Even though they, like, I mean, it's like, I will even admit, like, I was definitely swindled to AOC, at least, you know, for the first few years. And honestly, dead ass, it was because of people like Paul on ideology, you know, calling it from the jump. Like, he was like, yeah, I hope she's actually good. And, like, literally within, like, the first 6 months, it's like, fuck her. And it's like, at that point, I was like, bro, come on. But at this point, no, fuck her. He was right from the jump. Weird. It's weird how, like, people who tend to be, like, outcasts with a lot of these type of things end up getting vindicated later down the line, huh? Like, honestly. Like, I mean, I know that at least, you know, there's, you know, people that watch me that, you know, recognize, you know, Paul to some extent. And it's just like, and honestly, it's like, I mean, you know, when you have someone who is as, you know, blunt and cynical about the fucking political process, and, you know, you look at it at least initially, you're like, no. But then later down the line, you're like, oh yeah, I actually see it now. It's like, then don't you see the problem? Maybe it's not the cynic that's fucking got, you know, the issues here. Maybe it's the fact that there's no principles and no fucking real, like, political will to be pushing a shit electorally. Maybe that's it. Because a lot of these issues are in favor by the people and shit. Like, you know, when it comes to things like universal health care, depending on how you couch it, like, pretty much every poll is over 50% of America wants it. And that is including people who are conservative, too. So, it's, you know, it's at this point where things like healthcare, infrastructure, you know, like child tax credits, all these different things have overwhelming support, or at least, you know, over half of the country's support on. But yet, there's just no political will. We just can't get it done. It costs too much. Oh, we just have these people obstructing us. Oh, we have Manchin who's in the way and we can't get anything done because he's just this big ivory wall of immovability. We can't do anything. The checks of the lobbyists just are a little too strong. It just knocked me out. Oh, that check. Oh, damn, that fat $500,000 check by that lobbyist. Oh, God, it hit me in the cheek so hard. Oh, it took the wind out of me. Oh, I don't know if I can do that now. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I know healthcare was the thing that we were trying to do, but we can't do that now. Oh, fuck. I just got wind. I'm gonna have to take a break. Next election cycle. We'll do it. Oh, fuck. Oh. Ooh, oh, God damn. That $500,000 check just like fucking. Oh, God. Oh. Man, next electoral cycle. We'll do it then. I'm gonna have to sit here for like 2 years and just like think about this. It's like, fuck you.
It's obnoxious. Look, if she wants to come out now and say, no, but seriously, I do support them. Okay. But at least own up to the shit where you let them down. Like, at least own up on that front. And if you want to make amends for that by saying, you know what, the next event that you guys have, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to bring all these other politicians, that's great. But
I won't even believe it. Even if she did do that, I wouldn't believe her. I call her a fucking liar to her face. And if she really wants people like me to eat crow on that, then fucking show up. And actually have people there. And not just you, but yeah, bring the whole squad. You know, fucking try to convince Bernie to go. Hell, like, convince, like, one of the corporate Dems to go, to actually, like, bring them there to, you know, who's a little bit more open to maybe join you or something. Get fucking, like, I don't know, like, Pete Bootyfuck or something. Be like, hey, you wanna, is there something I can convince you to come, you know, down and see this whole, like, you know, labor thing? Like, I mean, just to maybe kind of just pin that fucking seed in your head. Like, I mean, because even if there's, like, corporate Dems that half-assedly are like, yeah, I've been down there and I've seen, you know, this type of stuff, and the fact that people are so, like, encouraged and happy, enthusiastic, you know, I think they're just, like, even if they're, like, some virtue bullshit, you know, thrown the way when it comes to, like, union stuff, that will still boost it, and I'll still support it, and people will be like, oh, yeah, maybe I should. I mean, it's just, like, even if it's, you know, small shit like that, because at that point, then it's like, at least AOC's doing something. But she's not. She's literally turning her back on it. And last second wants to take the fucking credit for it.
You saw that, you snapped, you immediately were like, no.
Like, how much, like, honestly, how much do you want to bet she's getting dark money? Like, dead ass. Like, not in, like, you know, lobby checks in the traditional way, but, like, you know, like, fucking, like, a briefcase with, like, a couple hundred Benjis in there or some shit. Or, like, an envelope with, like, you know, $1,000 in it or some shit. You know, it's just like, here, you can have this. Don't put it in any account, you know, but you can have it. Just don't put it in your bank or nothing.
Because it's disingenuous. That's the problem. It's disingenuous. So you responded and walk everybody through what you said and what happened.
Yeah, I just wanted there to be a record under her little, happy tweet about yay, go Amazon Labor Union. I just wanted there to be a record of where you actually were when it counted, which was nowhere. So I responded with, a link to the interview that Kyle and I did with Christian, where he explained everything that happened. And I said,
Warning, independent thought detected.
Really
Seek,
counted,
isolate, destroy.
And Kit couldn't be bothered to say anything until they were on the cusp of victory. And by the way, these are your constituents.
Now she tried to get you on some snippy shit like
so
that. Like, actually, this isn't in my district.
This is which is really obnoxious, because I didn't say the warehouse is in her district. I know it's not in her district, but I also knew that Christian, part of why he was, legitimately upset about it is because he knows these workers who live in her district who were excited about AOC coming to their rally, and then she lets them down. So for her to pretend like she didn't even represent anyone that worked there was just,
bullshit.
Really extreme.
It was just bullshit, and it just shows, that she's not in touch or in favor of not just her constituents, but of the fucking worker or the laborer and their fucking plight. She's only there for her clout, and then that is it. She's only there to maximize her goddamn clout, and Jesus fucking Christ. It's like at this point, it just seems like every time I hear something about her, the more I just get pissed off about her. Because of just how much of a fucking snake she is. She's more of a goddamn snake than Warren is. Because at least Warren was, at least there was this notion and standing that, yeah, she's not like, some radical progressive like Bernie or some shit. Well, I mean, Bernie wasn't even really necessarily radical, but I guess considering our system or whatever the fuck, Bernie's a radical guy. So it's like, she was seen as like the middle ground between like the corporate establishment and the progressives in a way, where she has like a foot in both doors in a sense. Like at least there's an idea that like, yeah, she's not going to be perfect and blah, 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 blah. But like, I mean, with AOC though, it's like, she's even more of a motherfucking snake. Like, there's memes about Warren of her being a snake and shit, especially backstabbing Bernie and stuff, but goddamn, there needs to be like, that in tenfold for fucking AOC with her slippery ass snakiness. Being a fucking viper. Like, ugh. I mean, honestly, I really wonder how people are, are fundamentally, so supportive of her still. Like, I mean, don't you just see it at this point? Like, she's not there for, the offices of pushing progressive principles and progressive ideas in politics. Like, maybe vocally being an advocate for it, but not actually pushing it, and not actually, trying to make sure that things like that get done. She's willing to play ball and, continue to status quo as is while saying otherwise. My little mother thinks Bernie's too radical, while Trump is Satan himself. She's literally a Biden bro. Oh my god. Ew. Ugh. Ew.
Maybe you should look at I'm paraphrasing, but she's like, maybe you should look at a map. This warehouse isn't even my district, and you need to do your due diligence before you reply next time.
Right here or no?
Next one. Yeah, so that was her reply, which is obviously setting up a straw man, because I never even said the warehouse was in the district. The point was that
and also, it's just a dishonest fucking smear against fucking Crystal as well. Like, AOC is willing to fucking straw man and smear somebody instead of actually just, be held accountable and have some fucking self-reflection.
Work there, and that's just
her.
The reason why you're not
putting sorry, there we go.
Over here. So look, the reason why this matters is because she's trying to cover up the fact that she wasn't.
She's a puppet.
When it counted, okay.
And she knows that, which is why she had such a snippy response, because
right,
it struck
and that's the main point.
Because she's a narcissist
the reason
too.
Why she so angrily responded to Crystal is because Crystal touched a nerve. Because she's fucking right about it. She's right about it. And again, so if AOC has a problem with any of this, don't take it up.
The cow might get mad. Oh my god, bro.
Kristen Smalls, who is the one who said you left him high and dry. Okay, so you don't have a problem with Kyle Klinsky. You don't have a problem with Crystal Ball. When you responded.
I mean, honestly, I'm not like the biggest fan of Crystal, but it's just more so that I just don't find her very charismatic or anything. She kind of rubs me as kind of boring. But honestly, this definitely legit, unironically, makes me like her. Like, this actually puts respect points to Crystal Ball in my mind now. Like, legitimately, like, It went from like meh to like, well, okay, I actually like her. Like, I mean, she's like, Crystal's got more like, she's got more of a clit of steel than AOC does. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? It's like she's willing to, like, you know, stand on the principle about, you know, pushing labor and shit, and you aren't. It's like, part of your opposite of being there is, you know, like, in office and shit is to, you know, be gung-ho about that, but you're not. You're a two-faced viper.
Interview in the tweet, and everybody could see with their own two eyes what Christian Smalls said, and he's the one who earned this victory. And so, if you have a problem, then take it up with Christian Smalls. But the fact of the matter is, listen. So now let's get to where we're at this current moment.
Can I say one more thing about
Sure,
that?
of course, go ahead.
Christian also weighed into this debate after she basically tried to make it seem like she didn't represent anyone who had anything to do with this warehouse, and I think that is hurtful to him and to, you know, the people that he knows. So he replied just saying, "Look, that's terrible. I personally know people who commute from your district to this Staten Island warehouse." And look, I also think it's noteworthy. She was happy to go back and forth with me a few more times and other, like, media types, but she never responded, at least at this point, to Christian and what he was saying. And
so still ghosting him.
That's the person. I mean, that's who this is really about. It's about these workers. It's about Christian. It's about the fact that on what is the most potentially transformational labor fight that's happening right next door to you with your own constituents involved, you, for whatever reason, you weren't there. And yeah, I think is that the most important thing is what's happening on the ground and the incredible victory they look like they're on the cusp of pulling off.
They did.
It absolutely
They got
matters. Who was
I mean, since this video was put out, they got a victory on
there,
it.
who had their back, and who was a true ally in this fight. I think it's a very revealing moment, in fact, and not just for AOC, but for everyone who claims to be, you know, supporter of workers and supporter of unions.
Yep.
When the chips were down and it really mattered, and you have this guy doing this extraordinarily courageous and historic thing, where were you and what'd you have to say about it?
And look, he was a long shot, which is why she was probably coached, hey, might not be the best idea to do this.
Like, honestly, you know, at least for me, I wasn't really as aware of the Staten Island vote. I only heard about it, like, a couple times. But every time I was hearing about that shit, it's like, I mean, power to them, solidarity, and I hope that's just, you know, that's just the beginning. Like, I mean, honestly, like, this is the first fucking domino to Amazon. It is. And it's going to expand, and, you know, because I know Bessemer, I think, is getting a re-election, and there's also going to be plenty of other warehouses that are going to see that, what happened at Staten, and be like, I want that. And they're going to probably, and, you know, and the ALU is probably going to become, you know, one of the more, like, rapid, probably one of the most, like, probably the biggest, like, or like, probably the most, like one of the unions to grow the fastest, probably in history. Like, there's been unions throughout history, especially in America, that have had, like, rapid growths and a lot of momentum. And honestly, like, you know, even with that, it takes years in the making. This could probably be quicker. This could probably be, you know, like a couple years in, you know, in the making instead of like 5 or 6. Because, I mean, especially considering there's just more people, you know, than there were back in the day. Yeah, there's going to be a very strong likelihood we're going to see like, you know, explosive growth of the Amazon labor union like we probably have never seen with any union in history. And, like, I want that. I want to see that. I hope I'm not wrong about that. Because, I mean, it's, like, considering the conditions of Amazon and how, you know, like, insane and fucked up it is, I mean, it's just only a matter of time. On top of that, like, I know the Teamsters, they have a new head of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, and I forgot his full name, but I know his last name is O'Brien, and he's a self-described militant laborer and, like, a militant unionist, and it's just like, huh? And I know one of the recent things that the IBT was looking to do was put a lot of their major focuses on the trucking industries and a lot of the delivery services of Amazon and start unionizing there. So Amazon's going to be hit on multiple fucking fronts. And like, at least when it comes to this first vote, like, it's only major indictment of, like, where the fuck were you here? And are you going to see this trend and, you know, rectify that mistake? Or are you going to just still sit on the sidelines? Because at least the IBT is at least, you know, cooking up something in the back, in the kitchen right now. I mean, I can at least, you know, kind of revert that indictment on them because, you know, they're actually working on doing their own thing. They're, you know, while independent with the ALU, they're, you know, they're still more supportive indirectly with them, you know, just on that virtue versus, you know, these other ones that just weren't there. And it's just like, I mean, now we might just see, you know, a totally new union that's going to just explode, most likely. And honestly, I'm going to see if I can find some merch, because if there is, especially stickers, I'm going to splatter them everywhere. Like, I'm going to order, like, a pack of 100 bumper stickers or something, and just, like, every Amazon, like, delivery vehicle I see, I'm going to splatter, like, a bunch of them on the side of it. They're going to be like, hey, what are you doing? It's like, unionize your fucking workplace. It's like, the Amazon labor union, bruh. And just run away.
Got AOC. You were a long shot. And so you realized you were doing something, oh my god, you know, this is so hard, I might not win, and very few people were there for you.
I don't know, I think we get the point of this fucking video. Honestly, it just makes me despise AOC more. Because of how much of just a fucking puppet viper that she's become. And honestly, I just hope more people start realizing that shit. Oh my god, the first top comment. Kyle's a progressive but dresses like an average Republican voter. Nah, dude, that's me. I dress like an average Republican voter if I was like in Montana or some shit. Like fucking like country looking hat, fucking just some torn out jeans. I got fucking like tactical shit. Fucking like I'm more of the average Republican voter lookalike motherfucker than Kyle is. What the hell? Oh my god. He does kind of look like that though. Not gonna lie. Kind of looks more like an upper crusty moderate Republican. Oh shit, my other patch got delivered. The mail was delivered in between this process. Cool. I'm gonna go grab that.
I'm gonna go grab that. Run back in here, run back in.
Oh my god, there's so much bullshit. Boo. Anyway, I'll put this right here on. Come on. Who's baby? Who's baby? Cool. Alright, let's look at our patch. I already know what it looks like, so put that over there. Yeah, there it is. There's that nice looking patch. Oh, Muff Divers Union, Local 69, baby. Is that a booklet? It came with a booklet? What is this? Oh, it's a piece of cardboard. Why in the fuck is this in here? There we go. Yeah. Oh, dude, this is a fucking nice quality ass. Damn, fuck. This is actually. Damn. This is fucking like a better quality than I expected. This is fucking nice. Hell yeah. And I got my chest rigging today as well. So, I can actually put it on here. So where shall I put you? I think I'll put you just right there. There we go. So, Cuff, what are you doing? Let me do this real quick. There, just have it on. I haven't actually put it on yet, so figured I'd get all nice set up here. It's actually a good idea to wear these just to kind of get them worn in, just because that will actually be good to get them, well, more suited to you in a sense, but also to make sure that you kind of know how they fit and you can kind of get comfortable with it. And just gotta figure this out here. Alright. Yeah, let me take that part out first. This is kind of a bitch, actually. See, this is, now I'm having to figure it out, you know? Have it at least somewhat kind of roomy. There we go. Nice. Actually kind of comfortable. That's pretty comfy. Yeah, it's actually pretty nice and comfy. Just need some plates and it's pretty much all set. But yeah, cool. That's what that's gonna be. But you know, what's all the little pouches in here? So looks like there's 2 magazine pouches right here. Okay. Well, I actually do have like airsoft mags, so I can at least put those in there in the meantime to get it more worn in. So yeah. Cool. Well, there we go. It actually kind of blends in really nicely with the East German green. So, nice. Kind of blends in quite nicely. Like that. But, yeah, let's put you. Put this go back on there like so. Okay, dokie. Boom. I'll put that on there. Nice. Dope. Now there's just a couple more that should be getting in, and that should be pretty much about all of them. Baby. What's up, bro? Want a little treat? See it? That a boy. Up. Stand up. Good boy. What a goof. What a little goof. Cool. Bump. What's this random bit of local news? What? Judge refuses to block grazing in Eastern Oregon pastures. Why is this recommended to me? What's this about? A federal judge this week denied a temporary restraining order sought by environmental groups that will block grazing in 6 Eastern Oregon pastures. Capitol Press reports U.S. District Judge Michael Simon said the plaintiffs haven't shown that turning cattle out in pastures will cause irreparable harm to sage groves or to rangeland research. Okay, he said continued grazing is unlikely to cause irreparable harm. The ability of environmental plaintiffs to enjoy undisturbed sagebrush grasslands since pastures have long been grazed and are rested on a rotating basis. Well, like, that's pretty much like rotating, like, animal husbandry type of shit. Have to push back. Portland officials may bring elk fountain back. Oh, the elk is going to come back? After community pushback, Portland officials are considering returning the bronze elk statue to its historical site, along with restoring its fountain base. Friday, the Portland Parks Foundation announced it would be working on to redesign the Thompson Elk Fountain so it doesn't create traffic concerns as the fountain sites in the middle of Southwest Madison Street. Since then, it's been stored away in an undisclosed location when officials announced the statue was being brought back, but with a smaller base, many Portlanders voiced strong objections. What for the fucking elk? Really? There's a lot of passion for restoring the elk in the fountain, but said Randy Gregg, the executive director of the PPF. But in Portland's system of government, the task is bureaucratically complicated, aka literally nobody does fucking shit. Literally no one in the city government does anything. That's what that means. What we need is a design enterprise site that encompasses all the competing interests in this. Oh my god, who cares? In the same in the blah 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 blah. It's just like. So a bunch of people are getting butthurt because they're like, no, I don't want that fountain back at that road. Boo. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, it was there forever, and like, now that it's gone, everyone's all like, yay. But now people are like, hey, let's bring it back, and everyone's like, no. It's like, oh my god, it's a fucking elk statue. Are we serious? Just put it back. And honestly, like, for the Nightmare Elk that was during the protests and shit, they should bring that for Halloween. Like, every October to replace it with that. So, it's just like, I mean, you know, it's, I don't know, like, just put it back. Like, I mean, the protests haven't happened in a while. I think we're okay. You could return it and it'll be fine. No need to get all, no need to have panties all up in a bunch now. I mean, it's just like, honestly, just like make it so the road in that little like roundabout section where the fountain is, just make it bigger. So it's easier to loop around it. I don't know, fucking, oh my god, people are dumb. What the hell? That's what people are fucking concerned about, whether a goddamn fucking fountain is put back in its spot. It's like, are we fucking serious? It's like, I'm pretty sure there's, like, things like, I don't know, like housing and shit that, you know, could be pretty poignant and focused on, but no. Definitely not a housing problem, you know, going on right now, in not just in the country, but, you know, in our town, in our, you know, so definitely not all. We're gonna have to, you know, do a very long, multi-hour bureaucratic process about Fountain. Fucking Madison Street, in between, what is it, like, 3rd and 4th? Yeah, it's like in between 3rd and 4th Street and on Madison Street. It's like, oh my fucking god. Honestly, I can imagine the Portland subreddit probably has like some weird shit about that. Dude, what the fuck? A former Yale administrator is accused of stealing $40 million worth of computers and iPads for nearly a decade. Oh my god. What the fuck? Some motherfucker in Yale is having like his own little crime sting. What the fuck? Bruh. Damn, dude. Oh, this just puts such an embarrassing, like, stature and respectability of our society within Yale. Oh, dastardly. What an embarrassment to our credibility and our prestige. Oh. Appalling. Honestly, I don't even know how I feel about that guy. On one hand, based for, you know, sticking it a little bit to a bunch of, like, yuppie-ass, preppy fucking pseudo-academics. But at the same time, it's just like, Jesus Christ. I mean, honestly, it's like, for a whole area that seems to be like, yeah, we got, you know, fucking a lot of hoity-toity, rich, smart academics here. It's like, apparently you're not smart enough to fucking catch somebody stealing $40 million worth of fucking computers. And iPads and shit. Like, oh my god. Look at you. You look like a dork. Such a sweet little baby. You just look so cute. Sweet little baby Zukov. Sleepy little baby. Here. Whatever random things have been tubing it up, aside from the whole nice Staten Island fucking Univote, which that is just, I mean, honestly, that's just some more good news. And at least I'm happy that our local has actually been taking a little bit more of an aggressive approach as well. Maybe not as much as I'd prefer, but definitely, you know, still more of an offensive approach nonetheless. So, it's like, hey, definitely love it. Definitely love to see it. Anyway, not really too much else, you know. Actually need to kind of prep up for going to a gig later, which I'll actually live stream that too. So, next stream I do will probably be that. So, have a nice little fun gig to check out. Actually, I need to make sure I just have all the deets from my buddy on that one. Get one more little bowl smoked out and all that fun shit. Let's do a couple errands as well before I run off to that gig as well. Now, honestly, it's been a while since I've been at a concert. Even if it's going to be like a little bar gig, it's still going to be fucking nice. Pretty much the equivalent of a house show. But at least still somewhat more established, I guess you could say. Yes, yes. What is it, baby? What is it, little baby? Hmm? Oh. Oh, it's a sweet little chunky baby. Just goofy little boy you is. Oh, look at you. Look at you. Just so sweet. Your little noises, bro. You make the silliest little noises. Alright, let's get this last bowl smoked out. And let's call it good for now. But anyway, peace out, and of course, I'll be back around for the next one, which will probably be a little concert stream. So.